Hiya, people from all places and races! We are here in the first episode of Rabbids Fandom Occurrences. And as it is Black History Month, it was a perfect opportunity to talk about this subject. Without further ado, let's get right into it! Black people in fandom spaces have been quite a controversial topic in recent history due to various reasons. Projects that have been trying to include black fellows with mixed reception, various organizations looking to change the environments where many projects are created, and of course, giving internet to mentally unstable people. Something that many seem to realize is that black folks are becoming more and more prominent with each passing day in these kinds of communities. Examples of this are the Splatoon fandom, the Sonic fandom, the Friday Night Funkin' fandom, the Dragon Ball fandom, and even the Mario fandom in recent history. Despite there being clear influence of these folks in some of these new and bold works from these communities or from the intellectual properties as a whole, it's always difficult to talk about black people inside fandoms because, well, they lead to very unhinged discussions that ultimately lead to racism. And this isn't just, oh, these characters shouldn't be played by blacks or any of that stuff. No, I mean actual racism, man. Like, they cannot even be there. You wanna know what's the funny part about all this? It's that this isn't an issue in the Rabbids fandom. I mean it, and I want to explain it. As stated, talking about black people in these spaces is always complicated, but not here. The Rabbids fandom has a surprisingly well-valued black community. It has no issue talking and acknowledging black people inside its spaces, and in fact, some black folks here are quite beloved around here. I'm not saying this just to gain brownie points or to push an IDE agenda. I am being serious. Black people never have an issue with being part of the Rabbids fandom. They are always welcome and cared for. I can mention 10 black fellas from the Rabbids fandom right from the get-go. Okay. Rabbid Loris, Rabbid LeBoy, Magician Rabbit, Sparkle's Gun, Razor Ruler, Front-Facing Rayman, Orlando Cabrera, Rabbit 214, Officer Apple 247, Weirdo, and, according to some of my sources, Fletch King. I just want to remind you all that I ain't naming these fellas just cause. They have a long history in the fandom and have left quite an impact on it. Officer Apple was the start of the Rabbids fandom renaissance. Loris was the most prominent figure in the fanbase during the early 2020s, and Razor Ruler was basically one of the founding fathers of the community. Nobody here can deny their influence or their iconicity. I must remind you that 3 of the most important groups of the fandom have at least 2 black fellas on them, with one being the leader. And you wanna know what is the most curious thing of it all? That the Rabbids are what you would call a progressive franchise. I mean, sure, there have been instances that Rabbids Invasion had characters from distinct ethnicities like Olivia from Mission to Mars, and there was this famous episode about racism. But that isn't something that Ubisoft or the franchise presumes often. And that is something that the fandom doesn't really mind. Like, Rabbit 214 always looks for proper representation of black people in every media she sees, but do you really think she plays the Rabbids game expecting to see black representation? I don't think so. I mean, yeah, she could be happy seeing black characters on screen like Olivia as we mentioned before, but I don't think that is the reason why she loves the Rabbids. And yes, this changes with her own creations, like with her character Ramona, but as stated, these are her creations. This isn't something she expects from the franchise, but from her own works. And we are both proud and happy for that. I guess what I'm trying to say is that a franchise can influence people from all around the world, even if that crowd isn't the target audience. The world is so diverse and so big that even if a project has one specific public in mind, it can always end up hitting differently to someone else, and we shouldn't bash people for that. A black-led film can have a huge impact on Latinos, or Chinese animations can change the lives of many British folks. What unites us is not the race, but the love we have for the project. And to end my statement, I would like to say that I don't mind that so many black folks form part of this beautiful community. Because not only are they great people that have impacted so much on people's lives, but also have influenced every single one of my works one way or another. It's just ironic, you know. You have franchises that try so hard to be progressive and inclusive and they don't hit the mark. Or maybe they are, and they end up in so much controversy. And then you have this one that doesn't even try and, well, has one of the wokest fandoms in history. And you know what? That's completely fine.